So Arsenal go level on points with Manchester City, although City have played a game fewer than the teams around them, and just 2 points behind Liverpool. The other thing that they've done is seriously affect their goal difference. So they now have the same goal difference as Manchester City and only 1 behind Liverpool. And that could prove crucial come the end of the season. These small differences in a season that's looking as tight as this one could be significant.
Yeah, it was around this time last year where there was a lot of pressure on Arsenal because there were so many points clear. There were 6, 7 points clear, so everyone was thinking they're going to win the league, whereas now they're just sat there in the pack, right on the shoulder. And it may suit them better because they've not produced the best form to this point, but they have in the last couple of weeks started just to sort of look like they're going to...
I think Gary Neville's been watching my videos, by the way. I'm joking. Hit the like button and make sure you're subscribing. Going through a number of clips on today's show. Really want to gather and sort of garnish this content with your opinions, with your views. Let's take a little listen here to the title debate surrounding Arsenal.
Hit that form from last season that really put them into a position that looked like they could win the league. So,
by the way, I agree with Gary Neville. Hindsight, of course, has come into this. They couldn't handle the pressure last year of being ahead. They used too much energy up early on in the season, and they just didn't have it within themselves and the staying power to continue. The scenario is different this year. They're still not the favourites to win the league, but maybe being the underdogs, the spotlight not being upon them, it gives them a better outside chance than seemingly they had last year.
They just need to stay focused, calm, keep their players fit. They're good in a lot of areas, and if their front players who are really exciting can start to score the goals that they've not been doing earlier on in the season, they've got a real chance because they're a good team and they should be more experienced after last year. I know last week we were joking, you know, Cara talked about the celebrations.
Well, there was the whole thing about the celebrations, but in the wake of that, having celebrated as much as they did against one of their title rivals, do they then need to follow that up with a win, and not just a scraping a win, but a really emphatic performance against West Ham?
They've done the right thing today. They've won emphatically. They're hitting the form. The celebrations point is not. It's not a weak point. I know there's a lot of jokes been made in the last week, but last year we did.
It's not about not enjoying it.
No, look, celebrate when you win a goal, no problem at all. But you know, when you actually ramp up your excitement and your anxiety levels on a constant sort of for a constant period and for a long period like they did last season. You know, I always go back to Zinchenko tooting his horn at the fans after Bournemouth 3 months out. If you're thinking about that level of excitement and that sort of level of anxiety that he's got in them, that just saps energy. It's just proven fact. It's not a sort of Gary Neville thing. It's the thing that...
Look, I understand where Gary Neville's coming from, but the pundits and the media have been humbled this weekend by Arsenal. It's as simple as that. I understand if they were having mad celebrations after every goal and every win, you could make the argument they're going to sap energy. I don't think the celebrating last year had anything to do with it. I think the speed of their play from game week 1 exhausted them by the end of the season with a World Cup in the middle. I just think with the pressure of being top and the spotlight being upon them, Arsenal in the end crumbled. They crumbled. They weren't ready for it. I don't think celebrating does that, because Arsenal have never given me, or not in the last 18 months, any sign that they're not focused, they're not working hard, that they're complacent. And the narrative last week was when you celebrate the way they did, the following week, you might not be as good. You might let it go to your head. And not only did they win, they smashed West Ham. They humbled every single rival, every single Arteta outer, every single person that mocked them for celebrating an absolutely epic, big, and important win. And just from the sort of point of pushing back against nonsense opinions, it was joyful to watch that, because a lot of people look silly. And this is the irony that you always get surrounding the way Arsenal are treated by the media compared to other teams in the title race or other teams doing well. Arsenal are not their favourites to win the league. Some of them don't even have Arsenal in their top 2. Yet they will make a bigger song and dance about Arsenal not winning the league than if Man City or Liverpool were not to win it, even though they say they're better. They don't believe Arsenal were the best team in the league, but they put the pressure on them to win the league above and beyond everybody else. It's absolutely crazy. And it's quite funny, really, to see them be humbled. Up next, Mark Goldbridge talking about who he wants to win the league between Arsenal, City, Liverpool. Take a look.
over recent weeks, it's going to be Liverpool or City. So who would you rather win the
Okay, Arsenal not doing it then.
title? And I always say, well, let's not count Spurs out. Let's not count Arsenal out.
Okay,
But realistically, I think it takes a miracle for Spurs to win the league. And I don't think Arsenal are quite strong enough yet to really compete. And I would take those two over Liverpool or Man City, because as a Manchester United fan, Liverpool are our biggest rivals and Man City are, let's be honest, a real pain in the backside, and they're going for 4 Premier League titles. But if I had to pick, I'll explain why, I'd have to go Man City over Liverpool. And there's a very good explanation this, and it's very, very simple. The reason I would rather Man City win it over Liverpool is because Liverpool are more credible than Manchester City. They're our biggest rival. They've been our biggest rival for years.
Nice.
Matters more. They're going for 20 times. I respect and dislike Liverpool in equal measures because they are our biggest rival. And as much as I don't want Man City to win it, I don't actually massively respect what Man City have done. I do respect it in the sense that Pep's a good manager and the team's good.
I get where Mark's coming from, and he doesn't respect it. The problem that you have, and I want to say this in a polite way, Mark's opinion and my opinion about how we feel about it, how you personally feel about it, is almost irrelevant. And you've got to remove your own subjectivity and look at this objectively. You do. Because if City are found guilty of all those charges, then Mark's feelings become true. No one's going to care about what they want. It doesn't matter if they do with 10p. Everyone's going to say, but you cheated. You cheated to get there. No one's going to give them any credibility. If they win this court case, this trial, this hearing, and everything is validated, it doesn't matter how I don't care about what City do. The record books do. And doing a 4-peat would be the first time ever. Liverpool winning number 20, Liverpool even surpassing us next season and winning 21. It's still far more attainable, achievable, likely that we could catch them and get back in front than it is that we could ever do a 4-peat. And in fact, could we ever beat that? Could we do a 5-peat if a 4-peat's taken 130 years? Probably not. So for me, it has to be, if you're having to choose between the two, it has to be Liverpool. Because what City could set is an unprecedented record that even if you don't care what City are doing, if they win this court case, those records are never being broken. They are never being broken in anyone watching this video's lifetime. So for me, I think you got to be objective and want Liverpool to win.
The best centre-back pairing in Europe. In Europe, we've got the best defence in the league.
My brother Stricker
the
say
2 best centre-back pairing in Europe.
it is pretty good. Arsenal's centre-backs together are pretty damn good.
In Europe, we've got the best defence in the league. Look at the stats. This is not my opinion. This is just numbers. He's a leader, and you know, if you think about the defence we've had over the last 10 years with Mustafi, fucking Papadopoulos, Socrates, whatever his name is, bro. Socrates, there you go. Like, these guys aren't these guys. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, these guys are physical. They got a presence. They been there. They bully people. Do you know what I'm saying? Declan Rice. Oh, you know.
Do you know what's interesting? I love what Stricko's brought up here, because defenses win your titles. Goals win you games, which are important, and they're scoring lots of goals. But the best defense in the league always give you a proper chance of winning titles. Not conceding goals, you're 50, 60% of the way to a victory. If you don't concede, you've only got to score 1. So when you're defensively as strong as Arsenal are, they've conceded less than 1 goal per game. Give them a great chance. And I don't know if it's being discussed enough. So of all the clips I watched on AFTV, this is the one that really stood out to me when I looked at it and thought to myself, do you know what? Their solid defense and that centre-back pairing, by the way, which is still very young and got years ahead of itself, physical ability, goal-scoring ability, great positioning, excellent on the ball, speed for days. Talk to me, people. Talk to me about that defense. Now, look, I want to play what I think is going to be a funny video here that Jamie O'Hara posted last night.
Gabby! Oh,
Gabby!
I ain't trying.
Gabby!
I say this with respect to Gabby Agbonlalo. I say this with respect to him, but I'm so glad the way he shits on Man United, for us to do the double over his beloved Aston Villa this season is just beautiful.
A different prospect now from what he was when he first came in.
Yeah, I like him. He's a
Rasmus Hojlund doesn't look a different prospect from when he first came in, and I'll get on to why in a moment.
young kid. He's 21, playing for one of the biggest clubs in the world. Comes in, he's not fit when he first comes in. He gets in the team. Football's, if there's one thing you can bottle up in football, you ask any, it's confidence. And he's got confidence now. As Roy said, he'll think he'll score every time. First 9-10 games when he was going 1 goal, no goals in 9, he was snatching at everything. You know, right, he'll tell you, you've got to be as cool as ice in there. And there, you could tell, that ball comes in. If that was at the start of the season, he'd have hit that as hard as he could. It'll probably hit the... And he just places it under the goalkeeper. So it's all about confidence. He's a good player. I think he'll be a superstar.
And what's probably helped him, we look at the lack of strikers at Man United. So the manager's almost been forced to play him week in, week out. He's not had the options of taking him up and going with somebody else, because obviously Martial's been injured. No other great options at the club. And the manager spoke he would have liked to get somebody in January, but obviously financial situations with that. So the fact he's had to play him week in, week out, and he's had the option of taking him up and giving him a rest, has been a big help to him.
And
he is going to be a superstar. And the reason why I would say this, that there isn't a different player on show. There is just immersive kind of pulled on it. There's just somebody that is growing in confidence and understanding what it takes to play in the Premier League. There's an adjustment period. And what would have been perfect for a player like Rasmus would be for Man United to have a fit Anthony Martial and for him to have been bled in slowly. What would have helped Man United is if we could have got this deal done early in the window and he'd had a full pre-season and didn't come in injured. All these things had an impact on this young man. But I think most Man United fans worth their salt, and most rivals, because Chelsea fans for ages are saying, oh, I wish we had him at our club instead of Jackson. Arsenal fans were coming on our show saying, oh, if we had him up front for us with the chances we create. Everybody saw the quality in this man. And I made a statement in the summer, which I stand by to this day. I genuinely mean this. He'll never be as good a finisher as Erling Haaland. But I think as a footballer, overall, with his ability, I think he's better. This man is going to be a deadly goal scorer and a top number 9 in world football. And there's a little stat that's come out with people. He's the youngest Man United player ever to score in 5 consecutive league games for the football club. He's the second youngest ever to do that in the Premier League. Nicolas Anelka was slightly younger than him, was a couple of years younger than him at 19, and Anelka was such a great young talent. But think about all the young attackers that have been in the Premier League. Think of all the young strikers we've had, the top class, the world-class talent that have been here between the age of sort of 17 through to 21. None of them have ever scored. Only 2 of them have scored 5 times on the bounce in league games. Now, if he was to go and score again, he'd be the youngest player ever to score in 6 consecutive league games. That is not a purple patch stat, because over a 30-plus year period in the Premier League, it's never been done. That is a sign of absolute quality. Absolute quality. So, to the question again at the beginning of this segment, he isn't a different player. He is just growing in confidence and learning. But we all saw the quality that Rasmus Hojlund possessed. I want to get your views. I want to get your opinions in the comment section below, people. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And I'll see you all again soon.